Cool. So now we're going to actually need to look at the switch copy stamping, and we'll do that kind of now. We'll just delete these guys. We don't need them anymore, and this will keep at the bottom of our tree. And now we'll grab us a font object. We'll render that out, and right now it's saying frame whatever. We'll just call this 1. Okay, and then we'll just do another one, and then we'll just call this 2. So if we turn this on, whoops, we'll just copy and paste, and this one will be 2. So right now we're going to take a look at the switch node. Switch node is a nice little node that allows us to store multiple states within one node, and then we're able to switch between the states with this little slider here. Okay, so you get to see when it's at 0, it's grabbing this first information, and then, oh, well, let's render this out. So when it's at 0, we're seeing our 1, and then when it's at 1, we're seeing 2. So this one node, we're able to switch between these two elements here. So now what we can do, we can utilize a copy node, and then plug this in as the element to be copied. And if we grab, let's say, a circle here, we can go ahead and plug that in. And then now if we look at this, we have let's change this orientation here. Whoops, there we go. Yeah, that's fine. So you get to see that we have 1s copied over in each spot, and if we go to our switch here, we can swap that out, and now we have a bunch of 2s. So what we're going to want to do, we're going to want to use a stamp function within our switch over here, and that's going to live within our copy. So if we go inside of our stamp, enable this, and we'll just call this swap or my swap, whatever. So we'll call this my swap, and what we're going to want to do, we're going to want to pull a random number based off of our point IDs. And so we'll go ahead and we'll do random, and we'll grab our point IDs, and we're going to use our point IDs as a seed, and we'll grab that seed value, close that, and we'll multiply this by 2. So we have this random seed here, and that's being utilized in place. That's being utilized in here, and in order to access this, we're going to need to go inside of here and do a stamp. Just type in stamp, open this up, and then it's looking for a string. It's saying string scope, so we need to put quotes here, and for this we'll type in // and we're going to find the copy node. I think it's the copy 2 that has the information that we need, and then it's looking for a string, and it's looking for the token, which is my swap, I think is what I called it. We'll go ahead and double check. We'll just that's a variable right here that we can utilize. So let's make sure that this is correct. And let's see if I can find my mouse. There we go. There we go. So I called it my swap with a like that. Okay. So here you get to see that I have a 1 here, and then I have a bunch of 2s in place. And one of the issues, why is this erroring out? Invalid source index out of range. So in my swap, stamp my swap. There we go. So now if we go to our copy here, alright, invalid source index out of range. So what I'm going to need to do, it's probably expecting a integer value. So Instead of having this be a float value, we'll make sure that it's an integer value. Here. So stamp, copy to, my swap. Huh. Alright, just give me a sec, we'll pause. Okay, it looked like I was going crazy for a second. I unplugged this guy, the font 2, by accident. You didn't want, you really don't want to do that. So we have that, and then now here we can increase the random a bit. So we can multiply this by a value maybe like just typed in a bunch of numbers in here, just increased the likelihood that we get random values in here. So I'm just multiplying our point ID just by a random seed here, and then let's see if we can just play with that. So having this set to 1, you get to see they're all set to 1, and if we set this to 2, we're getting a mix between 1s and 2s. And you can see how that's working out. So here I just put the total number of possibilities that we have. It's going from 0 to 1, and then here we're able to swap this out. So right now we only have 2 states that we're swapping out. So if we go ahead and copy and paste this, plug this in here, and then we'll call this 3. So now we have 3 states that are in here, but we have no 3s in place. So if we go to instead of our copy and just put in a 3 at the end, you got to see now we're randomizing the elements that are being copied in place, and this is going to be the backbone for our dominoes. So this whole entire process is in place. So this is our backbone here. This copy switch right here is exactly what we're going to need. Okay, so we can delete that, and then this will bring in our curve. So we'll do an object merge. Make sure we get that curve input. Actually, I think the curve is here. So we have our copy 1. Let's see. We have the switch. Oh, that's okay. We can keep it like that. And then we can grab this copy and just plug this into here. So we're going to copy some points down. Actually, let's just disconnect that, and then we'll worry about that later. So now let's actually get this looking like a like a domino. So we'll go ahead and we'll grab an object merge, and then we'll find our low-res domino. Accept. So this should represent our low-res domino. It's ginormous. So we have this, and let's start fiddling around with this guy. We're going to need dominoes have a split here, so we'll just grab us a tube, and we're going to use a cookie sop. This is going to give us a boolean here, so we'll plug these two together. Let's check that out, and then let's find where this is actually living. So that's our object. So let's transform this up. So we'll rotate this. Oh, no, it was right the first time. So we'll rotate this 90 degrees, like so. We'll change our radius, like so. Hold down Control to have multiple templates here. We'll change our height, something like that. And we'll pull this up. We'll just hit Enter here to grab our gizmo here, our manipulating handle. We'll put that up. I'll just pull this maybe right around here. Cool. and then we'll change our radius back down on this tube. So now we have this element, and then if we look at our cookie, I'll turn these guys off. If we look at a cookie, we're going to have, let's change this to polygon. Okay. So now, if we look at our cookie, we have these two mesh inputs that are in place, and they're actually not touching, so let's get them to touch. Bam. So now we're creating this relationship between them, and let's go and change our cookie type. So now you get to see that we were just able to subtract out this section here. So if we grab this X form, let's pull it down here. So we have that, and now it's time for us to get us some dots moving. So dominoes have dots. So let's find out an interesting way to do that. We can grab us a grid. And with the grid, we have a ton of points on here. So we only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We only need 9 points, so we need 1, 2, 3 lines. So we'll bring this down, maybe 2 splits, 3 and 3. Cool. So now with this, we're able to have these points, and then with those points, we'll actually do a copy here. The grid will be our template, and then here we'll grab a sphere, plug this together. So now if we look at this, we have spheres on all of our dots right now, and we just want an interesting way in order to swap out between our dots, because well, first of all, dominoes don't have all these points and all that jazz. So this will actually go, we'll probably merge these in together into a merge note. Merge that in this, like so, and then we'll bring this into here. So now if we kind of check this cookie out here, if these were actually polygons, you get to see that the sphere is ripping apart our object here. And if we just play around with our grid, let's do a transform. Here we'll grab this and we'll rotate it up. We'll do 90 degrees. And then we'll position this up into place, and then we'll scale it down just so that everything fits, so that this grid fits within within that face. And then we can also bring our radius down here. So we'll bring the radius down. Okay, so we're just putzing around here. Let me bring this forward. We'll template this, and then we'll have that on. So now we'll scale this up, maybe with a lower sensitivity. You know what, right around here is actually pretty good. So something like that will be where the where everything will fit okay. And obviously you're going to want to take your time figuring out where the exact position for these will go. But right now we're just prototyping the system. Okay. So let's say that's our domino. So now what we want, we're going to want multiple states. Just like we had earlier with the text, we're going to want a way to store multiple versions of this. We're going to want to have 6 states. A state where we have no points, and a state where we have 1 point in the middle, 2, 3, 4. And we're actually going to use a switch for that. And we're actually going to use the add stop. Okay, so with the add, we're going to want to delete geometry, but we're going to keep the points within the grid. So if we look at this, Here we can turn this off, turn that on. So if we look at this, this is what we get. So this is before, this is after. So we just have a bunch of points that we're going to pass over to our copy. And we're going to go to polygons here. And we're going to remove unused points, and this is going to be our 0 state. That one was easy. 0. Oh, zerp. So that's going to be our 0 state, and we're going to copy and paste this, and this will be our 1 state. And you're going to see how this is going to work out. We have this 1 state, and here we'll plug in. If we look at all of our IDs, let's turn this off and then look at our ID numbers. You get to see that we have everything labeled 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it just goes on like that. So from here, I'm just going to put in everything, put in all IDs. I'm going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are all the IDs that we'll be working with, and I'm going to remove unused points, and you actually get to see that we have these points that are in place. And I'm going to create maybe a third one. So we'll just copy and paste that, and this will call 2. So we'll check this out right quick. And in order to get just 1, we're going to want the 1 in the middle. So all we want is 4, the 4 ID. So now this node, the one that says 1 will represent our 1 domino, and if we grab 2 here, we're going to want 8 and 0 that are still here. So we'll get that. So now we have our 2 spot. And before I do that, let me just copy and paste this a few more times. So this will be 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. So then this will just chill out over here. Cool. So we'll go ahead, we'll grab us a switch, and we'll take our switch and just plug in all of these elements. We'll just grab them and just plug them in to here, and then we'll plug this into our copy. So now if we scrub this, we get to see that we have 1 point. So we go, this should be no points. So we have no points, 1 point, 2, 1 point, and this 2 point should look like this. So, and this is our 2 point here. And if we go down to our copy, you get to see that as we play around with this slider on our switch, we have 1, 2, like so. And then if we go down to our cookie, bam, we have 1, none, 2. So this is the process that we're going to do in order to create our dominoes. And if you have any foresight here, you can actually see what we're going to shoot off here. We're going to, within this switch, which is the one that which should actually be down here. So within this switch, we're going to copy this expression. We're going to paste that here. It's going to be the same expression that we're going to use, like so. And we're just going to continue. We're just going to grab this and continue down here, plug these in. So we're going to use that same exact function that we just did within this section with this copy stamp paradigm here. So we did 2, and then 3 is going to be, if we look at our point IDs, 3 is going to be 8, 4, and 0. 8, 4, 0. This could be 4. 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6. We're going to want to get rid of 3, 4, 5. So we'll grab 3, 4, 5, get rid of that. And that's 6. And then 5, we're going to want to get rid of 3, 5, 1, and 7. So this should look like 5, like so, and then 4 is easy. 4, we want to get rid of 1, 4, 7, 1, 4, 7, and then 5 and 3. Cool. So this is going to be 4, so we have everything in place over here. The switch should be beautiful, and then we have our where's that copy? It's not this copy, it's going to be this copy. So on this copy we have 6 states, so, or 7 states, so we'll make sure we'll drop in a 7 here. It's called my swap. And that should be good. And then now if we check out our cookie here, we have that in place. We're not really going to see this until we have multiple copies, so let's go ahead and get multiple copies. So we should find our curve, which is here. So we plug in our cookie into here. Let's see. So that looks absolutely broken, but we'll go ahead and bring this up. So within our, let's make sure our copy stamping is turned on. It should still be turned on. Let's use this one into here. Just make sure that data stream is in place. I will plug you into here. Turn you on. Turn this display off. So now you get to see the top dominoes are working. We just need to get them aligned correctly. So I'm just going to put a transform here, just get that over with. Transform, and then we'll just rotate this 90 degrees. Okay, we don't want to rotate before, because we want to rotate after the cookie, not before the cookie. There we go. So now if you see all the dominoes on the top, they're different. All the values are different within the top domino. And then now in order to do the same thing for the bottom, we're going to need to duplicate this tree, this structure here. Well, not everything here, we just need another switch essentially. So here we're just going to copy the switch. Boop. Actually, we don't even need to copy the switch. Yeah, we will, because we want another calculation here. So here we'll copy our switch, and the switch we're going to want a different variable, so we can call it myswap2. And within our copy here, we can get rid of this one. Plug this into here, and then we'll just copy all of this, paste it into here. We want a different seed value, otherwise it's going to come out to be the same. We'll call this myswap2. myswap2, and then we'll change up our seed value. Whoops, those are letters. That won't work. So there we go. And it actually looks very similar. So now what we have this one's not happy. Why aren't you happy? Bad parameter. Copy to in parameter. Oh, it's going to be copy 4. Let's change that up. Copy 4. There we go. And that should be happy. So that's happy now. And this one is copy 4, my swap 2, my swap. Let me clean that up right there. It's kind of bugging me. All right, so we have copy 4, my swap, all that's in place. And now this, we'll just need to, we need to plug this into the merge right here. And this we'll need to transform, because we're going to need to move these values to be on the bottom. So we'll call these top, and we'll call this one bottom. Here. And then we'll template that, and we want to visualize this. Alright, let's visualize this and template this one. Okay, so we have those points, and we're just going to need another copy. So we'll just copy and paste this copy, plug that in, and then now we should have, and this goes into the merge. So we'll plug that in and disconnect this one, since those are just dots. Okay, so this is our bottom. That's the copy. Let's transform this afterwards. See how that will work out for us. There we go. So now this will pull down into here to the bottom portion of our domino. So that should be good. And then the expression's there. So now when we go inside of our, we'll go down our chain here. Let's check this out. You got to see that we have completely random dominoes, and I do have some errors here, and that's because I'm not getting the cleanest geometry in here, but you got to see how this is working out. And now the most important thing is to make sure that we keep our groups. So here, if we go inside of our copy stamp, we need to make sure we create our output groups, and our output group, which is what we had here, I think. Yeah, we'll just copy this out. And our output group will be called this, and that should be passed on to here. So now if we look at our history, if we look at our sim, we can hit play, and now let's see, they should be falling. There we go. So now you got to see that we have our high-res dominoes, which are now fallen. Derp, 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 derp. Cool. So that is the entire process for doing simulated dominoes. And then having each domino be different. It's quite a fun project, so enjoy it.